Where we left off is a bit of narcolepsy. We'll just start right back. The rules of exploration. The rules of exploration. Vision and lighting conditions. Dwarves, half-orcs, and many forms of monstrous creatures have dark vision. But characters and beings without this quality need light to see. See the table below for the radius that a light source illuminates and how long it lasts. In an area of bright light, all characters can see clearly. A creature cannot hide in an area of bright light unless it is invisible or has cover. In an area of shadowy illumination, a character can see dimly. Creatures within this area have concealment relative to that character. A creature in an area of shadowy illumination can make a hide check to conceal itself. In areas of darkness, creatures without dark vision are effectively blinded. In addition to the obvious fact, a blinded creature has a 50% mischance in combat. All opponents have total concealment. In addition to the obvious effect, a blinded creature has a 50% mischance in combat, loses any dexterity bonus to AC, takes a -2 penalty to AC, moves at half speed, and takes a -4 penalty to search on checks and most strength and dexterity-based skill checks. Mhm. A blinded creature has a 50% mischance in combat. All opponents have total concealment. Loses any dexterity bonus to AC, takes a -2 penalty to AC, moves at half speed, and takes a -4 penalty on search checks and most strength and dexterity based skill checks. Characters with low light vision, elves, gnomes, and half-elves, among others, can see objects twice as far away as the given radius. Double the effective radius of bright light and of shadowy illumination for characters with the low light quality. So double the effective radius. Okay, so let's see. Go back to this candle. Shadowy 5 feet and duration 1 hour. Ever burning torch, bright at 20 feet, shadowy at 40 feet, duration permanent. Lamp common, bright at 15 feet, shadowy at 30 feet, duration at 6 hours. A pint of lamp fuel. And that's double for low light vision characters, elves, gnomes, and half-elves. Can see objects twice as far away as the given radius. Double the effective radius of bright light and shadowy illumination for characters with the low light quality. Characters with dark vision, dwarves and half-orcs, as noted above, can see lit areas normally, as well as dark areas within 60 feet. A creature cannot hide within 60 feet of a character with dark vision unless it is invisible or has cover other than shadows. Only a creature that can claim concealment or cover from a condition that is not directly dependent on lighting can succeed at hide skill checks against a character or being with dark vision. So, displacer beasts, I guess. Breaking objects. When attempting to break an object, you have two choices: smash it with a weapon or break it with sheer strength. Breaking objects can also be accomplished through the application of energy other than kinetic, but the basic rules for doing so are largely unchanged. Exceptions to this principle are noted below when appropriate. Smashing an object. Smashing a weapon or shield with a slashing or bludgeoning weapon is accomplished by the Sundar special attack. Sunder. It's accomplished by the Sunder special attack. So smashing a weapon or shield with a slashing or bludgeoning weapon is accomplished by the Sunder special attack. Smashing an object is a lot like Smashing an object is a lot like sundering a weapon or shield, except that your attack roll is opposed by the object's AC. Generally, you can smash an object only with a bludgeoning or slashing weapon. Well, if there's like a terracotta vase, you can just go ahead and hit it with a mace and smash it and get all the loot from inside. Armor class. Objects are easier to hit than creatures because they usually do not move. Usually. But many are tough enough to shrug off some damage from each blow. An object's armor class is equal to 10 plus its size modifier plus its dexterity modifier. An inanimate object has not only a dexterity of 0, -5 penalty to AC, but also an additional -2 penalty to its AC. Furthermore, if you take a full round action to line up a shot, you get an automatic hit with a melee weapon and a +5 bonus on attack rolls with a ranged weapon. So if you want to talk about objects like that, like say a marble pillar, I would have a very high armor class, even if it has no dexterity. But a terracotta vase would probably have a much lower armor class than the marble pillar. Or let's say a large rock. If you started attacking the large rock, you'll just break your weapons. Line up a shot. You have to take a full round action to line up a shot. You got an automatic hit with a melee weapon and +5 bonus on attack rolls with a ranged weapon. I do not recommend firing your arrows at the rock. For the base will probably break open. You can get all of the loot. Hardness. Let's say a treasure chest too. Treasure chest, you might be able to start smashing it about. A good mace at the joints. But you take the mace to its hinges. And you just go ahead and smash it open and don't worry about the lock. Of course, you could smash the lock. Hardness. Each object has hardness, a number that represents how well it resists damage. Whenever an object takes damage, subtract its hardness from the damage. Only damage in excess of its hardness is deducted from the object's hit points. See table, common armor, weapons, and shield hardness and hit points. Table, substance hardness and hit points, and table, object hardness and hit points. So table 1 to 10, common armor, weapons, and shield hardness and hit points. That's a real thing in physics. Hardness is literally a category. Only damage in excess of its hardness is deducted from the object's hit points. So a weapon shield, let's say light blade, its hardness is 10, its HP is 2. One-handed blade, hardness is 10, HP is 5. And two-handed blade, hardness is 10, HP is 10. Light metal hafted weapon, hardness 10, HP 10. One-handed metal hafted weapon, hardness 10, HP 20. Light hafted weapon, hardness 5, HP 2. And on light hafted weapon, one-handed hafted weapons, two-handed hafted weapons, projectile weapon, armor, buckler, light wooden shield, heavy wooden shield, light steel shield, heavy steel shield, tower shield. The heavy steel shield is a hardness 10 and HP 20. The light wooden shield is hardness 5, HP 7. On that way. Hit points. An object hit point total. Hit points. An object's hit point total depends on what it is made of and how big it is. See table 1 through 10, common armor, weapons, and shield hardness and hit points. Table 1 through 11, substance hardness and hit points. And table 1 through 13, object hardness and hit points. When an object's hit points reach 0, it is ruined. Very large objects, such as wagons or main battle tanks, may have separate hit point totals for different sections or locations. Interesting. I think the gas cap has like fewer hit points than the rest of the machine in a sniper elite. You can fire your rifles at the tank all you want, but you could only destroy it if you hit the gas cap. Energy attacks. Acid and sonic attacks deal damage to most objects, just as they do to creatures. Roll damage and apply it normally after a successful hit. Electricity and fire attacks deal half damage to most objects. Divide the damage dealt by 2 before applying hardness. So divide the damage of electricity and fire attacks before applying the hardness. Cold attacks deal 1/4 damage to most objects. Divide the damage dealt by 4 before applying the hardness. Hood's really big. Tassels are heavy. Ranged weapon damage. Objects take half damage from ranged weapons unless the weapon is a siege engine or something similar. Divide the damage dealt by 2 before applying the object's hardness. Ineffective weapons. Certain weapons cannot effectively deal damage to certain objects. You're not gonna attack the rock with a little dagger. You're gonna mess up your dagger. ineffective weapons. Yeah. Certain weapons cannot effectively deal damage to certain objects. Immunities. Objects. Objects are immune to non-lethal damage and to critical hits. Even animated objects, which are otherwise considered creatures, have these immunities because they are constructs. Animated objects, which are otherwise considered creatures, have these immunities because they're constructs. Okay. Mage armor. Magic armor, it says. Mage. Magic armor, shields, and weapons. Each +1 of enhancement bonus adds 2 to the hardness of armor. A weapon or a shield and a +10 to the item's hit points. Each +1 of enhancement bonus adds 2 to the hardness. And +10 to the item's hit points. So +1 magic gives you shield, +2 hardness, and +10 hit points. Nice. Need some enchanted shields. Vulnerability to certain attacks. Certain attacks are especially successful against some objects. In such cases, attacks deal double their normal damage and may ignore the object's hardness. Hardness. Armor, special armor bonus times 5. Right. The HP value given is for medium armor, weapons, and shields. Divide by 2 for each size category of the item smaller than medium, or multiply it by 2 for each size category larger than medium. Let's see, there's a footnote here. Okay, armor special, this 2 is the footnote, varies by material. See table substance hardness and hit points, which is apparently on another page. Damaged objects. A damaged object remains fully functional until the item's hit points are reduced to 0, at which point it is destroyed. Damaged but not destroyed objects can be repaired with the craft skill. Saving throws. Non-magical, unattended items never make saving throws. They are considered to have failed their saving throws. So they always are affected by spells. An item attended by a character, being grasped, touched, or worn, makes saving throws as the character. That is, using the character's saving throw bonus. So a worn, an item attended by a character, so say a shield being grasped, makes saving throws as the character. That is, using the character's saving throw bonus. Magically imbued items always get saving throws. A magic item's fortitude, reflex, and will save bonuses are equal to 2 plus 1/2 its caster level. So magically imbued items are equal. Fortitude and Reflex. Well, save bonuses. Equal to 2 plus 1/2 its castable. An attended magic item either makes saving throws as its owner or uses its own saving throw bonus, whichever is better. Neat. I wonder how you'd code a little sort of mini game with these. Animated objects. Animated objects count as creatures for purposes of determining their armor class. Do not treat them as inanimate objects. So, animated objects for purposes of armor class. Breaking items. When a character tries to break something with sudden force rather than by dealing damage, use a strength check rather than an attack roll and damage roll, as with the Sunder special attack. To see whether he or she succeeds, the DC depends more on the construction of the item than on the material. If an item has lost half or more of its hit points, the DC to break it drops by 2. Larger and smaller creatures get size bonuses and size penalties on strength checks to break open doors as follows. Fine, -16. Diminutive, -12. Tiny, -8. Small, -4. So those are size penalties on strength checks. Large, +4. Huge, +8. Gargantuan, +12. And colossal, +16. These are size bonuses on strength checks. Here you go. Tapes. Substance, hardness, and hit points. So substance, paper or cloth, rope, glass, ice, leather, hide, wood, stone, iron or steel, mithril, and adamantine. So paper or cloth has a hardness of 0, hit points 2 inch of thickness. I mean, you can just stop a bullet with on a phone book. Substance, rope, hardness 0, hit points 2, but / inch of thickness. Glass has hardness of 1, hit points is 1 / inch of thickness. Ice hardness of 0. I don't know about that. Ice could be pretty tough. Hardness 0, hit points 3 / inch of thickness. Leather or hide has hardness of 2. See, why does leather have more hardness than ice? I don't know about. If you get a thick enough piece of ice, I could do some damage if thrown at somebody. Leather or hide, hardness of 2, 5 inch of thickness. Per inch? Okay, I think a little slash stands for per. Wood has hardness of 5, 10 per inch of thickness. Stone has a hardness of 8, 15 per inch of thickness. Hit points. Per inch of thickness is hit points. So hardness of 8 and 15 hit points per inch. Iron or steel. Hardness of 10, 30 hit points per inch of thickness. And adamantine hardness of 20 and 40 hit points per inch of thickness. Table 1, size and armor class of objects. Size colossal, AC modifier is -8. Gargantuan -4, huge -2, large -1, medium +0, small +1, tiny +2, diminutive +4, fine +8. Size and AC modifier. Armor class for fine at +8. Table 113, object hardness and hit points. So object is rope of 1 inch diameter. Hardness is 0, hit points is 2, and break DC is 23. Simple wooden door. Hardness 5, hit points 10, break DC is 13. Small chest, hardness 5, hit points 1, break DC 17. Good wooden door. That was simple, and now this one's good. 5, 15, 18. Treasure chest, 5, 15, 23. Strong wooden door, 5, 20, 23. Masonry wall, 1 foot thick. 8, 90. Hit points are 90. Break DC is 35. Hewn stone, 3 feet thick. Hardness 8. Hit points 540. Break DC is 50. Chain 10, 5, and 26. Manacle 10, 10, 26. Masterwork manacles 10, 10, 28. Iron door, 2 inches thick. 10, 60, 28. Table 1 through 14. DCs to break or burst items. Strength check 2, break down a simple door. DC is 13. So let's go back to the simple wooden door. Hardness 5, hit points 20. Break DC is 13. So the strength check to break down the simple door, you have to roll a 13. Break down the good door, 18. Good wooden door, break DC is 18, yeah. Strong door. Yeah, 23. Burst rope bonds, 23. Rope, yeah, 23. Iron bars, 24. Burst rope bonds, 23. Scissors rope, yeah, 23. Bend iron bars, 24. It's 28. That's for an iron door. Manacles. Password manacles is 28. Break down barred doors, 25. Burst chain bonds, 26. Yep, chain 26. Break down iron door, 28. Yep, iron door, 28. And condition, hold portal, arcane lock. DC adjustment, +5, +10. If both apply, use the larger number. Okay. A crowbar or portable ram Gron, 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 gron. So, align. Okay, so a crowbar or portable ram improves the character's chance of breaking open the door. Improves. Alignment. A creature's alignment. A creature's alignment. General moral and personal attitudes are represented by its alignment. A creature's general moral and personal attitudes represented by its alignment. Lawful good, neutral, good, chaotic good. Lawful neutral, neutral, chaotic neutral. Lawful evil, neutral evil, or chaotic evil. Alignment is a tool for developing your character's identity. It is not a straitjacket for restricting your character. Each alignment represents a broad range of personality types or personal philosophies. So, two characters of the same alignment can still be quite different from each other. In addition, few people are completely consistent. As such, alignment is not an absolute marker for a character's behavior, but rather a general guideline for what the individual is likely to do in any given situation. Many conditional factors such as stress, blackmail, or fatigue can modify a person's actions at any given time. And while extreme behavior will cause a shift in a creature's alignment, small variations are perfectly acceptable. A good person who commits a blatantly evil action may be called upon by a games master to switch his or her alignment to some form of evil, but just acting in a neutral manner once in a while would probably not require a permanent shift. Good versus evil. Good characters and creatures protect innocent life. Evil characters and creatures debase or destroy innocent life, whether for fun or profit. Good implies altruism, respect for life, and a concern for the dignity of sentient beings. Good characters make personal sacrifices to help others. Evil implies hurting, oppressing, and killing others. Some evil creatures simply have no compassion for others and kill without qualms if doing so is convenient. Others actively pursue evil, killing for sport or out of duty to some evil deity or master. People who are neutral with respect to good and evil have compunctions against killing the innocent, but lack the commitment to make sacrifices to protect or help others. Neutral people are committed to others by personal relationships. Being good or evil can be a conscious choice. For most people, though, being good or evil is an attitude that one recognizes but does not choose. Being neutral on the good-evil axis usually represents a lack of commitment one way or the other, but for some it represents a positive commitment to a balanced view. While acknowledging that good and evil are objective states, not just opinions, these folk maintain that a balance between the two is the proper place for people, or at least for them. Yeah, I think I'm neutral. Animals and other creatures incapable of moral action are neutral rather than good or evil. Even deadly vipers and tigers that eat people are neutral because they lack the capacity for morally right or wrong behavior. I mean, the tiger is you're good just because a tiger hunts and kills and eats its prey doesn't make it evil. Makes it evil to the deer, but makes it a good tiger because it's it's doing its natural thing. Animals and other creatures incapable of moral action are neutral rather than good or evil. Even deadly vipers and tigers that eat people or deer, or other animals, it's not all the same, are neutral because they lack the capacity for morally right or wrong behavior. You see, you can discuss that maybe evil is, to the deer is something evil to, evil to a deer is something different than evil to a person. And I could argue that deer are people too. Horses are people. Law versus chaos. Lawful characters tell the truth, keep their word, respect authority, honor tradition, and judge those who fall short of their duties. Respect my authority. Chaotic characters follow their read ahead, and this it uses the word reactionary in a way that kind of makes me question the alignment of the person writing the book. But anyhow, chaotic characters follow their consciences, resent being told what to do, favor new ideas over tradition, and do what they promise if they feel like it. Law implies honor, trustworthiness, obedience to authority, and reliability. On the downside, lawfulness can include closed-mindedness, reactionary adherence to tradition, what? Judgmentalness, and a lack of adaptability. Those who consciously promote lawfulness say that only lawful behavior creates a society in which people can depend on each other and make the right decisions in full confidence that others will act as they should. Yeah, being law-abiding generally makes things work out. Usually. Chaos implies freedom, adaptability, and flexibility. Okay, yeah. On the downside, chaos can include recklessness, resentment toward legitimate authority, arbitrary actions, and irresponsibility. Those who promote chaotic behavior say that only unfettered personal freedom allows people to express themselves fully and let society benefit from the potential that its individuals have within them. That's interesting. Someone who is neutral with respect to law and chaos has a normal respect for authority and feels neither a compulsion to obey nor a compulsion to rebel. She is honest but can be tempted into lying or deceiving others if it suits her. Right. Honest attempt. Okay, so right here is the Book of Vile Darkness. Very interesting book here. Book of Vile Darkness explains. Oh, there's a dust jacket. A map here. Ooh, cool. Ooh. Ooh. Like it's holding some buildings and terrain. Ooh, neat. Ooh, nice. Very, very nice. Beautiful map. Player's book for the Book of Vile Darkness. Playing Evil. Introduction. You're adventurers, aren't you? I used to be an adventurer back before I got turned into a demon. I was also a king. Yeah, king. It's a great kingdom and a million loyal subjects. Say, is that the Book of Vile Darkness you got there? You know, they only made 9 copies. I have the other 8. Wouldn't mind adding that one to my collection. Fraz Blue, Demon Prince of Deception. So you can't believe a word he says. Even if it is true, you cannot believe a word he says. Playing evil. What you condemn as evil, I call a willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed. I have done terrible things, and I take no pride in those acts. But I would do them again 1,000 times if it meant reaching such heights. High Cardinal Crozin. Understand the implications. Be considerate. Proceed with caution. Cooperative game. Evil adventuring groups. Agents of evil, criminals, devotees of a dark god, family ties, fugitives, mercenaries, survivors, creating an evil adventurer. Same as boring. Yarlax's look. Archetypes, anti-hero, non-hero, villain, villain. Goals, alignment, personality, appearance, background, powers. And personality traits. Angry, hedonistic, avaricious, brutish, craven, cruel, deceitful, detached, deviant, diabolical, dishonorable, domineering, erratic, extravagant, focused, foolish, gluttonous, haughty. It's like a thesaurus. Hedonistic, hidebound, introspective, jaded, lazy, lustful, mischievous, nihilistic, pliable, proud, quiet, scheming, strange, treacherous, unhinged, uptight, and wrathful. The 7 deadly sins need to be mentioned somewhere. Prideful, lustful, gluttonous, martial evil, primal evil, psionic evil, shadow evil, themes, choosing a theme, cultist, building a cultist, starting feature, level 5 feature, 6 utility, or disgraced noble. Don't let my reputation color your impression, my darling. The rumors are all lies. Spurious tales told by enemies who resent my good fortune. It's like a nice dwarf noble. Infernal. Slain Reaver. Vile Scholar. Ooh, neat. Looks interesting. Paragon. Blood Crazed Berserker. Hey, cool. Contract Killer. Demonologist. Lord. Beats. Anyway. And then there's the thick one. Oh, neat. This is a smaller picture of the map it comes with. And it's like encounter Knight of the New Sun. Oh, okay, here we go. PC started. Here's the map. This is a small picture of the map it comes with. There's the other one. The Vile Tome. Wow, the artwork's pretty great. Cool. Slaves in the Nine Hells. New monsters. Fallen angels. Dragon spawn. Nagul. Dragon Gate. By organizations. Noble Shochar. Wow. Filth Hag. Oh, cool. Oh, I like that. Filth Hag. Dragon spawn. Demon Hordeling. New monsters. Brand of Stygia. Stygian prison. Stygian. Oh, wow. Nice lace. Now Wicked Fence. Molian Dead. I need a zombie. Zombie. Maynard Doom Dreamer. Devotee of Darkness. Oh, wow. What's that? Chaos Beast. Devotee of Darkness. Chaos Beast. Vile monster. Wow, this is some really interesting stuff. Vital traps and hazards. Oh man, this evil on this. This is cool. Alright. Yeah. I'll pick this up now. Back in this lovely little dust jacket. This is the Masters of the Wild, Guidebook to Barbarians, Druids, and Rangers. My personal favorite stuff for here. But yeah, gonna have to have my my druid characters go and defeat a filth hag. That'd be great. burn down her evil little swamp hut. Cool. Wow. Let's see, this one's a little bit older than that one. Oh, that one's very new. That Book of All Darkness is very new. This one is. It was 2002. That's 2002, so about the same age as this, about 2003. All right. I'm not sure about this one. Let's see. 2011. A bit newer. Okay, so 2011. And then, of course, back here, this is the new stuff. All right, so, yeah. To be honest, I started reading the Book of Wild Darkness a while back, and I just couldn't help but think about Nancy Pelosi. And one more note on this. Here's me for. And instead of those kind of alignments, it has this. Alignment. Me for all. Character's alignment says something about his motivations in life, his worldview, values, and morals, and is a guide for the player playing the character. Characters are not good or evil in Mifurog, but either contemplative or ecstatic, harmonic or disharmonic, spiritual or materialistic, sympathetic or unsympathetic, or neutral to all of these factors, which in Mifurog are called attitudes. The contemplative is intellectual, introvert, and likes to meditate, think, or pray. The ecstatic, on the other hand, is more extrovert, and likes wild dancing, gorging, and other excitement, and is inclined to screaming and shouting or violence in combat. So, a dryad versus a satyr, we might say. The harmonic is calm, peace-seeking, balanced, and conflict-solving. He thinks things through before he acts. The disharmonic, on the other hand, is more hysterical, unbalanced, emotional, and conflict-seeking. The spiritual always thinks about the consequences of his actions on a spiritual level, and believes in rebirth or at least some form of existence after death. The materialistic, on the other hand, only thinks about the consequences he will face in life. He might still believe in a return to life after death, but even if he does, this belief hardly influences his actions in life. The sympathetic is considerate, altruistic, kind, and empathic. The unsympathetic is more ruthless, egotistical, and merciless. And the neutral is perhaps the most unusual of them all. He seeks fulfillment through patience, caution, and mercy. In many ways, he stands outside the normal society, but sometimes intervenes to restore balance. The different combinations of attitudes make up the alignments in Mifurog. And then they're given the names of gods. For instance, if you're contemplative, disharmonic, materialistic, and sympathetic, you're Aphroditic. Where if you're ecstatic, harmonic, spiritual, and unsympathetic, you're Uranic. If you're ecstatic, disharmonic, spiritual, and unsympathetic, you're hermetic. Hey, Hermes. If you're contemplative, harmonic, spiritual, and unsympathetic, you're Halosian. Ecstatic, harmonic, materialistic, and unsympathetic, Dionysian. If you're ecstatic, harmonic, spiritual, and sympathetic, you're Athenic. Yeah, Athena. And contemplative, disharmonic, materialistic, and unsympathetic is Poseidonic. So Poseidon. Anyway, I find these extremely interesting. Anyway, we're here to talk about Bark himself has audiobooks of his own works to find on BitChute. Right, so back to the more familiar version. I find me for Og's alignments and attitudes much more interesting. Yeah. Getting back to this Mongoose book. So let's see. I find the phrase reactionary adherence to tradition a little bit suspect. Only socialists use the word reactionary that way. And I think socialists are evil, but hey, they don't. Where was I? I'll just start at the beginning again. Law implies honor, trustworthiness, obedience to authority, and reliability. On the downside, lawfulness can include closed-mindedness, reactionary, adherence to tradition. Only socialists think that's a bad thing. And use the word reactionary. Judgmentalness and a lack of adaptability. Those who consciously promote lawfulness say that only lawful behavior creates a society in which people can depend on each other and make the right decisions in full confidence that others will act as they should. Chaos implies freedom, adaptability, and flexibility. On the downside, chaos can include recklessness, resentment towards legitimate authority, arbitrary actions, and irresponsibility. Those who promote chaotic behavior say that only unfettered personal freedom allows people to express themselves fully and let society benefit from the potential that its individuals have within them. Someone who is neutral with respect to law and chaos has a normal respect for authority and feels neither a compulsion to obey nor a compulsion to rebel. She is honest but can be tempted into lying or deceiving others. Devotion to law or chaos may be a conscious choice, but more often is a personality trait that is recognized rather than being chosen. And in me, for Og, it's very dependent on astrology. I find that great. I love that. Neutrality on the lawful chaotic axis is usually simply a middle state, a state of not feeling compelled toward one side or the other. Some few such neutrals, however, espouse neutrality as superior to law or chaos, regarding each as an extreme with its own blind spots and drawbacks. Centrist fence sitters. Animals and other creatures incapable of moral action are neutral. Dogs may be obedient and cats free-spirited, but they do not have the moral capacity to be truly lawful or chaotic. I mean, has this person ever trained dogs? The 9 alignments. 9 distinct alignments define all of the possible combinations of the lawful chaotic axis with the good evil axis. And me for all. Each alignment description below depicts a typical character of that alignment. Remember that individuals vary from this norm, and that a given character may act more or less in accord with his or her alignment from day to day. Use these descriptions as guidelines, not as scripts. Right. I like Poseidonic and Hermetic. I'm not interested. I should do a comparison. The first 6 alignments, lawful good through chaotic neutral, are the standard alignments for player characters. The 3 evil alignments are generally for monsters and villains, though a games master may decide to allow player characters to take evil alignments in a specific campaign. Caution should be taken with this option, as the disruptive effect of evil behavior within a group of player characters can be detrimental to the continuance of a game. The quests in there look very, very interesting. Lawful good crusader. A lawful good character acts as a good person is expected or required to act. She combines a commitment to oppose evil with the discipline to fight relentlessly. She tells the truth, keeps her word, helps those in need, and speaks out against injustice. A lawful good character hates to see the guilty go unpunished. Lawful good is the best alignment you can be because it combines honor and compassion. Neutral good benefactor. A neutral good character does the best that a good person can do. He is devoted to helping others. He works with kings and magistrates, but does not feel beholden to them. Neutral good is the best alignment you can be because it means doing what is good without bias, for or against order. Chaotic good, rebel. A chaotic good character acts as his conscience directs him, with little regard for what others expect of him. He makes his own way, but he's kind and benevolent. He believes in goodness and right, but has little use for laws and regulations. Like that. He hates it when people try to intimidate others and tell them what to do. He follows his own moral compass, which, although good, may not agree with that of society. Chaotic good is the best alignment you can be because it combines a good heart with a free spirit. Lawful neutral, judge. A lawful neutral character acts as law, tradition, or personal code directs her. Order and organization are paramount to her. It does keep insisting on using this feminine language. She may believe in personal order and live by a code or standard, or she may believe in order for all and favor a strong, organized government. Lawful neutral is the best alignment you can be because it means you are reliable and honorable without being a zealot. Let's see. Order and organization, personal order lived by a code, stand with believe in order for all, favor a strong, organized government. Lawful neutral. Sounds kind of mafioso to me. Maybe not. Neutral, undecided. A neutral character does what seems to be a good idea. She doesn't feel strongly one way or the other when it comes to good versus evil or law versus chaos. Most neutral characters exhibit a lack of conviction or bias rather than a commitment to neutrality. Such a character thinks of good as better than evil. After all, she would rather have good neighbors and rulers than evil ones. Still, she's not personally committed to upholding good in any abstract or universal. Some neutral characters, on the other hand, commit themselves philosophically to neutrality. They see good, evil, law, and chaos as prejudices, dangerous extremes. They advocate the middle way of neutrality as the best, most balanced road in the long run. So, Taoist. Neutral is the best alignment you can be because it means you act naturally without prejudice or compulsion. Taoist. Chaotic neutral. Free spirit. A chaotic neutral character follows his whims. He is an individualist first and last. He values his own liberty, but doesn't strive to protect others' freedom. He avoids authority, resents restrictions, and challenges traditions. A chaotic neutral character does not intentionally disrupt organizations as part of a campaign of anarchy. To do so, he would have to be motivated either by good and a desire to liberate others, or evil and a desire to make those different from himself suffer. A chaotic neutral character may be unpredictable, but his behavior is not totally random. He is not as likely to jump off a bridge as to cross it. Chaotic neutral is the best alignment you can be because it represents true freedom from both society's restrictions and a do-gooder's zeal. Lawful evil, dominator. A lawful evil villain methodically takes what he wants. dominator. A lawful evil villain methodically takes what he wants within the limits of his code of conduct without regard for whom it hurts. He cares about tradition, loyalty, and order, but not about freedom, dignity, or life. He plays by the rules, but without mercy or compassion. He is comfortable in a hierarchy and would like to rule, but is willing to serve. He condemns others not according to their actions, but according to race, religion, homeland, or social rank. He is loath to break laws or promises. That sounds like Falsa Doom. This reluctance comes partly from his nature, and partly because he depends on order to protect himself from those who oppose him on moral grounds. Some lawful evil villains have particular taboos, such as not killing in cold blood, but having underlings do it, not letting children come to harm if it can be helped. They imagine that these compunctions put them above unprincipled villains. Some lawful evil people and creatures commit themselves to evil with a zeal like that of a crusader committed to good. Beyond being willing to hurt others for their own ends, they take pleasure in spreading evil as an end unto itself. Sounds like a wokest. They may also see doing evil as part of a duty to an evil deity or master. Lawful evil is sometimes called diabolical, because devils are the epitome of lawful evil. Lawful evil is the most dangerous alignment because it represents methodical, intentional, and frequently successful evil. Neutral evil, malefactor. A neutral evil villain does whatever, here we go again with the feminine language. A neutral evil villain does whatever she can get away with. She is out for herself, pure and simple. She sheds no tears for those she kills, whether for profit, sport, or convenience. She has no love of order and holds no illusion that following laws, traditions, or codes would make her any better or more noble. On the other hand, she doesn't have the restless nature or love of conflict that a chaotic evil villain has. It's neutral evil, malefactor. Some neutral evil villains hold up evil as an ideal, committing evil for its own sake. Most often, such villains are devoted to evil deities or secret societies. Secret societies. Neutral evil is the most dangerous alignment because it represents pure evil, without honor and without variation. Secret societies. You see, whether or not something is evil could also depend on your position. If you're opposed to, say, the Freemasons, then they're evil to you, and you're evil to them. The tiger and the deer. The tiger might be evil to the deer, but the tiger is really just doing what its nature requires it to do and feed its young some good venison. Chaotic evil destroyer. A chaotic evil character does whatever his greed, hatred, and lust for destruction drives him to do. He is hot-tempered, vicious, arbitrarily violent, and unpredictable. If he is simply out for whatever he can get, he is ruthless and brutal. If he is committed to the spread of evil and chaos, he is even worse. Thankfully, his plans are haphazard, and any groups he joins or forms are poorly organized. Typically, chaotic evil people can be made to work together only by force, and their leader lasts only as long as he can thwart attempts to topple or assassinate him. Chaotic evil is sometimes called demonic because demons are the epitome of chaotic evil. Chaotic evil is the most dangerous alignment because it represents the destruction not only of beauty and life, but also of the order on which beauty and life depend. All right. All right. So vital statistics. All characters have certain defining characteristics that, while they do not have a direct effect on gameplay, are important enough to track. They have a Sidriel. Anyway. This section is specifically written from the point of view of the basic character classes and races, but the same principles apply to any corporeal creature in a d20 game. The game's master should determine information for other creatures based on the charts given below. Age. You can choose or randomly generate your character's age. If you choose it, it must be at least the minimum age for the character's race and class. See table, random starting ages. Let's observe the table. We got it. Random starting ages. Race, human, dwarf, elf, gnome, half-elf, half-orc, and halfling. Adulthood, human 15 years. Barbarian, rogue, and sorcerer, plus 1d4. Bard, fighter, paladin, ranger, plus 1d6. Cleric, druid, monk, and wizard, plus 2d6. So to pretty properly a druid, you have to spend 20 years studying. Dwarf. Okay, so adulthood, 40 years. Barbarian, rogue, sorcerer, plus 3d6. Bard, fighter, paladin, ranger, plus 5d6. Cleric, druid, monk, or wizard, plus 7d6. Elf. Adulthood is 110 years. Barbarian, rogue, sorcerer, plus 4d6. Bard, fighter, paladin, ranger, plus 6d6. Cleric, druid, monk, and wizard, plus 10d6. Gnome, 40 years to adulthood. So barbarian, rogue, sorcerer, plus 4d6. Bard, fighter, paladin, ranger, plus 6d6. Cleric, druid, monk, and wizard, plus 10d6. Gnome, 40 years, plus 4d6, plus 6d6, plus 9d6. Half elf, 20 years, plus 1d6, plus 2d6, plus 3d6. Half orc, 14 years, plus 1d4, plus 1d6, plus 2d6. And halfling, 20 years, plus 2d4, plus 3d6, plus 4d6. Okay, so. Age. Age, you can choose or randomly generate your character's age. If you choose it, it must be at least the minimum age for the character's race and class. So, human, 15 years plus 2d6 for a druid. See table, random starting ages. Your character's minimum starting age is the adulthood age of his or her race plus the number of dice indicated in the entry corresponding to the character's race and class on table, random starting ages. Wait. Character's minimum starting age is the adulthood age of his or her race plus the number of dice indicated in the entry corresponding to the character's. It says race and class, but it should just say class. On table, random starting ages. Alternatively, refer to table random starting ages and roll dice to determine how old your character is. With age, a character's physical ability scores decrease and his or her mental ability scores increase. See table, aging effects. The effects of each aging step are cumulative. However, none of a character's ability scores can be reduced below 1 in this way. When a character reaches venerable age, secretly roll his or her maximum age, which is the number from the venerable column on table aging effects, plus the result of the dice roll. When a character reaches venerable age, secretly roll his or her maximum age, which is the number from the venerable column on table aging effects, plus the result of the dice roll indicated on the maximum age column on that table, and record the result, which the player does not know. A character who reaches his or her maximum age dies of old age sometime during the following year. The maximum ages are for player characters. Most people in the world at large die from pestilence, accidents, infections, or violence before getting to venerable age. Height and weight. The dice roll given in the height modifier column determines the character's extra height beyond the base height. That same number is multiplied by the dice roll or quantity given in the weight modifier column determines the character's extra weight beyond the base weight. Interesting. So table 1 through 6, aging effects. Race human, middle age 35, old is 53, venerable is 70, and maximum age is plus 2d20 years. So dwarf, middle age is 125, old is 188, venerable is 250, maximum is 2d100 years. Elf is 175 years, middle age. Old is 263 years, venerable is 350 years, and maximum age is plus 4d% years. Ah! Human, elf, gnome, half elf, half orc, halfling. Okay. Middle age. At middle age, -1 to strength, dexterity, and constitution, +1 to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. At old age, -2 to strength, dexterity, and constitution, +1 to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. At venerable age, -3 to strength, dexterity, and constitution, +1 to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So, let's see here. Gnome, half elf. So half elf is middle age is 62, old is 93, venerable is 125, and maximum age is +3 d20 years. And halfling is 50 years is middle age, 75 is old, 100 is venerable, and maximum is +5 d20 years. Table 117, random height and weight. So human, male, base height, 4'10", height modifier +2 d10, base weight 120 pounds, and weight modifier times 2 d4 pounds. So halfling male, base height is 2 foot 8.5 inches, and height modifier is +2 d4. Base weight is 30 pounds, and weight modifier is times 1 pound. Let's see. I got 2 foot 8. So gnomes are 3 foot, and their height modifier is +2 d4. Base weight is 40 pounds, and weight modifier is times 1 pound. Dwarf male. Base height is 3'9". Height modifier is +2 d4. Base weight is 130 pounds, and weight modifier is times 2 d6 pounds. What are gnomes? Half breeds of dwarves and halflings, like half elves are. Half elf male. Base height is 4'7.5", so shorter than humans. Height modifier +2 d8. Base weight 100 pounds. Weight modifier times 2 d4 pounds. These are elves, gnomes, half elves. Half elf 4'7". Elf is 4'5.5". Half elf is 4'7". Half orc is 4'10.5", like the human. Yeah. Find these in the chat. And then I'm gonna leave it for tomorrow. All right.